Before the break, we saw how asylum seekers arriving in Portland often get here with very little, just the t-shirts and flip-flops they're wearing. One of their most immediate needs is winter clothing, which is where a group led by a firefighter comes in.
And then I have clothes now that the guys from the fire department are donating because there's a need.
Operation Outreach to the Rescue. Firefighter paramedic Josh Pobrislow is South Portland's local health officer 1 day a week. He started the program, wrote grants to pay for a trailer, built it out, and stocked it with supplies. He and his team of volunteers have been making the rounds at these hotels since last summer.
I'm doing 2 runs. I'm doing a 10:30 run and an 11:30 run. Okay. Do you need to get vaccinated?
The needs are all-encompassing and constant, much like what he saw growing up on Indian reservations.
And it hurt when I couldn't help those populations. And so when I saw, hola, ¿cómo estás? When I saw that here, I felt really compelled to try and do something about it.
No husband.
In the back of the trailer, a mobile clinic where they screen for health issues.
I mean, a common one is folks that are just coming here, especially the kiddos, upset bellies, because the foods that we're offering and the foods that they have access to just don't work well with the small tummies.
In broken Spanish, which many of the asylum seekers picked up on their trek through Central America, Pobrislow attempts to help them navigate a complicated system of immigration, applications, school registration, and transportation. But the lack of coordination of services from 50-plus agencies and organizations is frustrating.
Because there are so many agencies and there isn't one direct lead, that it makes that conversation difficult.
As an example, the family shelter Overflow is on Route 1 in South Portland. Pobrislow says the grocery vouchers they are given can only be used at the Hannaford on Forest Avenue in Portland, but they have no transportation to get there.
They don't want to just be sitting here doing nothing. Talking to them, they all have skills and they all would like to work.
They are not allowed to work until the federal government grants them permission to do so. And the rooms, while a welcome respite from life on the road, are not equipped for families to live there this long. Portland says on average, families are here at the hotels for 5 months, though some have been here nearly a year.
Because they need to cook, they need like kitchen to cook their own food, things they like to eat and whatever. So they don't have this opportunity to do that right now.
It's hard to cook for a family with just a microwave and a refrigerator. At night, families as large as 7 crowd the beds, pullouts, and portable cribs. During the day, they congregate in what has become their asphalt community center, the parking lot, which is where Josh sets up shop.
What he's done is really incredible and continues to do.
Rob Kuchar works with Josh on the South Portland Fire Department and on Operation Outreach. While he's encouraged by recent efforts to increase communication among agencies, he is concerned because the grant money for Operation Outreach is running out, and those agencies will have to gear up to fill the gap.
You know, we took on a very large population of these folks, and we really didn't have the services to deal with that, because this isn't a population that we've had in these numbers in our community before.
And housing the influx of asylum seekers and homeless people coming from Portland is impacting South Portland city services.
We would get residents who became homeless at no fault of their own, who were looking for a placement and were unable to find anything because we hit capacity.
Kristen Barth runs South Portland's General Assistance.
So it was me and my staff calling every hotel from Freeport down to Sanford trying to find a placement for someone, which sometimes means a South Portland resident would end up in another municipality.
Schools are feeling the strain as the number of new students considered homeless because they live in temporary housing has skyrocketed. Police calls to 2 hotels housing mostly transient homeless people near the Maine Mall are up 300 to 1,500%, as are complaints of shoplifting, drug use, and fights. At the hotel housing asylum seekers, most of the calls are for paramedics, but those calls are up 400% since 2017. That led the South Portland city manager to issue letters to all of the hotels saying they need to figure out how to reduce the number of 911 calls or risk losing their licenses to operate. What everyone wants here is for these populations to be placed in affordable housing. But where?
We can't build it fast enough.
Dana Totman of Avesta Housing, a nonprofit affordable housing organization, says supply shortages caused by COVID have slowed construction of new affordable housing. What used to take 12 months to build now takes 18, and it costs more. The pandemic has also slowed the turnover of existing units. People are just staying put.
I've been doing this a long time, Cindy, and I've never seen the crisis this bad. I mean, we get 50 calls a day of people coming to us looking for housing, and we can help, but 1 or 2 or 3 a day. It is just incredibly sobering and challenging.
And that leaves no place to put these new arrivals.
I think there's light at the end of the tunnel. The problem is the tunnel's too long. That it's going to take several years to really increase the supply of affordable apartments.
Leaders in Portland and South Portland agree that this is not just a city or regional issue, it's a statewide issue. While federal funding is helping address the needs, the cities need help from the state in finding places for asylum seekers and homeless people to live.
It's an effect on the entire community. And hopefully we're going to continue to make a difference and make it grow and get better.
In the meantime, Josh and his team are doing all they can to meet the most pressing needs of traumatized families seeking safety in a new world.
And what they went through, and these small children, what they went through, and they may not process it now, but knowing about ACEs and things like that, how it's going to manifest later in these kiddos, it breaks my heart.
We're just trying to make a difference for them while they're here at this one stop in their journey.
Because it's about human being. We're trying to save human being.
Now, there is hope that even more federal funding will be coming to Maine, that funding earmarked for helping with the cost of housing and educating asylum seekers.
We've been talking about the affordable housing crisis in Maine for years. And this just really puts another spotlight on it. There's more and more pressure to find places for people to live, and no easy answers.
None at all. And COVID has only made matters worse.